Do you remember a time when the world just felt heavy for me? That day wasn't marked by some big disaster. It was a quiet collapse, the slow, crushing weight of life pressing down until I couldn't breathe. I was adrift in a city of millions, surrounded by noise, but drowning in a profound silence. My apartment was a cold, empty box. My phone, a silent brick. The days and nights just blurred into one long, meaningless stretch. I used to believe that if you worked hard and were a good person, happiness was a guarantee. But life has a way of teaching you otherwise, doesn't it? It started small. Waking up felt like a monumental effort. Friends I thought would be there forever just faded away. My job, once a source of pride, became a joyless routine, chipping away at my soul day after day. I felt broken, not in my body, but in that deep, hidden place where it hurts the most. One rainy evening, I just had to get out. I walked with no destination, letting the city's rhythm match the frantic beat in my chest. I ended up in a small, forgotten park. Soaked and exhausted, I collapsed onto a bench under a flickering lamppost, not caring who saw. I just didn't care anymore. Then a voice cut through the rain. "Hey, are you okay?" I looked up. A woman, a complete stranger, was standing there, holding an umbrella and offering a hesitant smile. In that moment, for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, a tiny spark of hope flickered within me. My voice cracked as I admitted, I don't know. I'm just so tired of everything." Without a word, she sat down, extending the umbrella to cover us both. "I get it," she said, her voice soft. "Sometimes life is just too much. But you don't have to face it alone." Her words were simple, but her sincerity was a balm on a wound I didn't know was still open. I wanted to push her away, to retreat back into my lonely fortress, but her warmth was disarming. It felt like a window had been opened in a suffocating room. We talked for hours. I spilled the messy, fragmented story of my life, the failures, the loneliness, the feeling of being completely invisible, and she just listened. She didn't offer cheap advice or empty platitudes. She just gave me the incredible gift of being heard. That one encounter became a routine. She'd meet me at the park, or just send a quick message to see how I was doing. She reintroduced me to the small joys I'd forgotten, the warmth of a coffee cup, the smell of rain on the pavement, the sound of real laughter. She celebrated my tiniest victories, the ones I would have dismissed as nothing. Slowly, so slowly I almost didn't notice, something inside me started to shift. It wasn't magic. It was just the gradual, gentle way light seeps into a dark room. I started to care again. I answered my phone. I reached out to old friends. The cracks in my heart didn't just disappear, but they started to fill with something new: warmth, acceptance, and a feeling of being valued. One afternoon, sitting on that same bench, she looked at me and said, "You've changed. You were never broken. You just needed someone to remind you that you're not alone." Tears streamed down my face because I knew she was right. I had been carrying a weight I thought was mine to bear alone, but her friendship made the burden feel lighter. The hug that followed wasn't just a hug, it was a lifeline. Months turned into a year. We shared meals, stories, fears, and dreams. She became my anchor, not by fixing my problems, but by showing me I was worthy of love and care, especially from myself. It was a lesson I had long forgotten. Genuine human connection is transformative. I still have bad days. Life is still messy and unpredictable. But the difference now is that I know, deep in my bones, that I am not alone. Her kindness started a ripple effect. It reminded me that love isn't always about grand cinematic gestures. Sometimes it's just about showing up. It's about listening. It's about seeing someone when they feel invisible. That rainy night in a forgotten park became the turning point of my entire life. One person's compassion, one act of care, changed my entire world. I was lost until a stranger showed me what it felt like to be found. And in her love, I found myself again. If you ever feel lost in the darkness, please remember this story. Kindness is a light, and connection is the way out. You are not alone, and you are worthy of being seen. Thank you so much for listening. If this story touched you, Please consider subscribing for more, and maybe share it with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose life you might change.